Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello students, nice to meet you again. Welcome back to poetry class. Our topic today, irony. The definition of irony: to see a distinction between the poet and the words of a fictitious character. Between Robert Browning and Miles Davis is to be aware of irony, a manner of speaking that implies a discrepancy. Now pay attention to the last statement, a manner of speaking that implies a discrepancy. So, if you find something is different from what we say and what we mean, then this is irony. If the mask says one thing and we sense that the writer is in fact saying something else, the writer has adopted an ironic point of view. This is another term, ironic point of view. In the end of this meeting, we will tell you the difference between irony and ironic point of view. No finer illustration exists in English than Jonathan Swift's A Modest Proposal, an essay in which Swift speaks as an earnest, humorless citizen who sets forth his reasonable plan to aid the Irish poor. The plan is so monstrous, no cheerleader can assent to it. The poor are to sell their children as meat for the tables of their landlords. From behind his false face, Swift is actually recommending not cannibalism, but love and Christian charity. So here, A Modest Proposal is an essay by Jonathan Swift. Actually, it is cannibalism, but because it talks about irony, then the statement wrapped into a finer illustration. The poor are to sell their children as meat for the tables of their landlords. So the landlords eat the meat of a child. Swift is actually recommending not cannibalism but love and Christian charity, as if this kind of action is Christian charity, but actually it is cannibalism. A man eats another man. A point is often made complicated and more interesting by another kind of irony. Verbal irony occurs whenever words say one thing but mean something else, usually the opposite. So we find again here one more term, verbal irony. Verbal irony. Irony, verbal irony. The word love means hate here. I just love to stay home and do my hair on Saturday night. If the verbal irony is conspicuously bitter, heavy-handed, and mocking, it is sarcasm. Oh, he is the biggest spender in the world. All right. The sarcasm is that statement was spoken would be underscored by the speaker's tone of voice. So here, love. You know that love? Love usually we like to do something, but here, love means hate. I just love to stay home and do my hair on Saturday night. Usually, everyone on Saturday night wants to go out, to go to cinema or to go to a mall, to go to supermarket. But here, We say something else. We say something the opposite. I just left to stay home and do my hair on Saturday night. This is verbal irony. And then what else? We have sarcasm here. Sarcasm, if the verbal irony is conspicuously bitter, heavy-handed, and mocking. Okay? So sarcasm is better than verbal irony. A famous instance of sarcasm is Mark Antony's line in his orison over the body of slain Julius Caesar. Brutus is an honorable man. Antony repeats his line until the enraged populace begins shouting exactly what he means to call Brutus and the other conspirators, traitors, villains, murderers. We had best be alert for irony on the printed page, for if we miss it, our interpretations of a poem may go wild. Yes, here an example of sarcasm. Yeah? It is in the drama Julius Caesar. I think you understand well who is Julius Caesar. And then Brutus is an honorable man. Mark Antony said Brutus is an honorable man. Actually, he wants to say that Brutus is a murderer. Brutus is a crime, a criminal. Brutus is a villain, a traitor, a murderer, etc. But at that time, Mark Antony said Brutus is an honorable man. It is the opposite of the meaning. Yeah? Now we have here a poem. The title is "Oh No" by Robert Greeley. If you wander far enough, you will come to it. And when you get there, they will give you a place to sit. For yourself only in a nice chair. And all your friends will be there with smiles on their faces. And they will likewise all have places. Now pay attention. The first line, if you wander far enough. If you go somewhere, you will come to it. And when you get there, they will give you a place to sit. So you can imagine that it is a kind of something comfortable. When you come to some place, then everyone gives you a place to sit. It seems that you are welcome, warm welcome. For yourself only, in a nice chair. So special, nice chair for you. And all your friends will be there with smiles on their faces, and they will likewise all have places. So all of them will smile to you, will smile for you because you are new member of the group. This poem is rich in verbal irony. The title helps point out that between the speaker's words and attitude lie deep differences. In line 2, what is it? Or it's the wandering suggests a conventional metaphor, the journey of life. Okay? So please pay attention here. There is a question. In line 2, what is it? What is it? Now back to the poem. If you wander far enough, you will come to it. What is it here? Is it an old age or something else? And you will find also the title. Oh no. If you say oh no, it means that you don't like it. But pay attention to the point. It seems like that you will find something comfortable. But why the title say oh no? It is a metaphor. The wandering suggests a conventional metaphor, the journey of life. Is it literally a rest home for senior citizens, or perhaps some naive popular concept of heaven, such as we meet in comic strips, hubs, angels with hoops for halus, in which the saved all sit around in a ring, smugly congratulating one another. We cannot be sure, but the speaker's attitude toward this final sitting place is definite. So is it literally a restroom for senior citizens? Do you know senior citizen? Senior citizens in America is old people. Old people, we call it senior citizens in America. But maybe it is not senior citizens, restroom for senior citizens, but the concept of heaven. Do you know heaven? Yeah. Heaven is a place, a very, very nice place after you die. So it here refers to this. A nice place for those who have already died. But here, in the final statement, we cannot be sure, but the speaker's attitude toward his final sitting place is definite. So the attitude of the speaker, he says no, oh no. It means that he doesn't like to do that. He doesn't like to go to that place. Maybe it is not heaven, but it is a hell, the opposite of heaven. Is it a place for the selfish, as we infer from the phrase for yourself only? And smiles on their faces may hint that the smiles are unchanging and forced. There is a difference between saying they had smile on their faces and they smiled. The latter suggests that the smiles come from within. So pay attention, some words in the poem. Is it a place for the selfish? Yeah? Selfish is egoist person. As we infer from the praise for yourself only, special for you. And also pay attention to the words smiles on their faces. According to this explanation, smiles on their faces is different from they smiled on their faces and they smiled. They had smiled on their faces and they smiled. They smiled. The smiles come from within. Yeah? So it's different. They had smile on their faces and they smiled. They smiled is nice, but they had smiled on their faces. It is a kind of force. Yeah? The word nice is to be regarded with distrust. If we see through the speaker, as clearly implies, we can do. We realize that while pretending to be sweet talking us into a seat, actually he is revealing the horror of a little hell. And the title is the poet's reaction of it, or the speaker's unironic, straightforward one. Oh no, not that. So actually, the speaker, here the speaker is the writer. The writer says, oh no, not that, I don't like it. It is not heaven, it is hell. Actually, it is hell, although they say that here in the poem, nice chat, yeah, with good people, but actually it is something horror, something terrible. We have again now dramatic irony. Like verbal irony, contains an element of contrast, but it usually refers to a situation in a play wherein a character whose knowledge is limited says, does, or encounters something of greater significance than he or she knows. We, the spectators, realize the meaning of the speech or action, for the playwright has afforded us superior knowledge. So dramatic irony, uh, if we watch drama, yeah, or if we watch film, then sometimes the character has limited knowledge. They don't know how to do or what to do. But actually, we as the spectators realize the meaning of this speech or action. We know that, for example, the characters is in danger, but the character doesn't know that. But we as spectators know well about the danger. So this is dramatic irony. The character doesn't know, but the spectators or we understand well that it is very dangerous. That is dramatic irony. In Sophocles' King Oedipus, when Oedipus vows to punish whomever has brought down a plague upon the city of Thebes, we know, as he doesn't, that the man he would punish is himself, referring to such a situation that precedes the downfall of a hero in a tragedy. Some critics speak of tragic irony instead of dramatic irony. Superior knowledge can be enjoyed not only by the spectators in a theater, but by readers of poetry as well. In Paradise Lost, we know in advance that Adam will fall into temptation, and we recognize his overconfidence. Yes, here we have an example, King Oedipus. King Oedipus here shows tragic irony. He says that he wants to punish whomever has brought down a plague upon the city of Thebes. Do you know plague? Plague is right now, yeah, in our world. We have COVID-19. It is a plague, yeah. So according to him, according to King Oedipus, he will punish everyone, but actually he himself do it. So it is tragic irony. And then here, superior knowledge can be enjoyed not only by the spectators in a theater, but by readers of poetry as well. So, if we watch film, usually we don't know what will happen in the film. Yeah? But not only in a film, readers of poetry also can do like that. For example, here, Paradise Lost. Do you know Paradise Lost? Yeah, it is about Adam and Eve. In Paradise Lost, we have understood that Adam will fall into temptation. That Adam will fall into temptation, and we recognize his overconfidence. But because we know in advance, it means that it is dramatic irony. In Paradise Lost, we, all of us, know what happens with Adam, what happened with Eve. But the story is going on like what happens. Yeah? Paradise Lost, we know before we read the poem, we know the story that Adam will fall into temptation. That is dramatic irony. That the reader, we as the reader, understand well what happens with Adam, but Adam and Eve don't know what happens to him after eating the fruit. That's dramatic irony. The situation of Oedipus also contains cosmic irony or irony of it. Some fate with a grim sense of humor seems cruelly to trick a human being. Okay? So Oedipus contains cosmic irony or irony of it. Cosmic irony clearly exists in poems in which fate or the fates are personified and seen as hostile, as in Thomas Hardy's The Convergence of the Twin. And it may be said to occur also in Robinson's Richard Cory. Obviously, it is a twist of it for the most envied man in town to kill himself. So here we have an example of irony of it, both in Oedipus and in the convergence of the twin. Irony of it. The fate, this is one, please pay attention, the statement. Cosmic irony clearly exists in poems in which fate or the fates are personified and seen as hostile. In Thomas Hardy's, the convergence of the twin between Titanic, the big ship, Titanic. All of the passengers at that time believe that Titanic will go smoothly, will go safely to the destination. But remember that the fate talked somewhere else. The fate is different. The passengers believe that the ship will go smoothly, but the fate is different because in the middle of the journey, the ship strikes ice. So that is the difference between what they want and what they undergo, what they experience. This is cosmic irony. To sum up, the effect of irony depends on the reader's noticing some incongruity or discrepancy between two things. So irony, the effect of irony depends on the reader's noticing some incongruity or discrepancy between two things. So there are two different things, positive and negative, like, dislike, love, hate. In verbal irony, there is a contrast between the speaker's words and meaning. Pay attention here. In verbal irony, there is a contrast between the speaker's words and meaning. In an ironic point of view, between the speaker's attitude and what is spoken by a vexatious character. Pay attention, the difference. Yeah? Because in the test, I will ask it, what is the difference between verbal irony, ironic point of view, etc. And then in dramatic irony, between the limited knowledge of a character and the full knowledge of the reader or spectator. Yes, I have given you an example of this. In cosmic irony, between the character's aspiration and the treatment he or she receives at the hands of it. So, example is Titanic. Yeah? This very well-known novel as well as very well-known film. Also, in the work of an inept poet, irony can be crude and obvious sarcasm. It is invaluable to a poet of more complicated mind, who imagines more than one perspective. So pay attention, the difference between irony, ironic point of view, sarcasm, etc. Because if you are not careful, then you will make mistakes in analyzing a poem. This is very important for you to remember the conclusion, because if you don't understand the difference between all of them, your analysis will go wide. So I think it's enough for today. I hope you can understand what I am talking. See you next time. Stay healthy. Stay safe. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.